And we're back to Thoughts If It Were You, Moral Series by Neo Gentrics. We're covering self-control. In this episode, I'm going to go ahead and cover 19 reasons why willpower fails. And then we're going to follow up this episode with how to build self-control if you don't already have it. So, first things first. Willpower is an essential ingredient in achieving, overcoming, and becoming who you want to be. So, let's ask this question. Why does it often fail us? Like I said, I'm going to give you 19 reasons why and how to fix them. But at the same time, you have to still think about this from the other person's perspective, not just your own. This will also help you see a viewpoint of what you need to work on as far as all of the other morals are concerned. I know I covered respect on how you can tell if someone's disrespecting you, but at the same time, that topic also covered how you should respect other people, as well as when I covered perseverance, how if you have it, and if not, what to do about it. So with this, we're going to go ahead and start with number 1. Too much will, but too little balance. Okay? Willpower is basically a game of balance, and balance is a game of stability, as is known by everybody. The fitness industry knows this acutely well, and every new year, fitness centers experience an explosion of new members around, January 1st. Walk into the gym the first couple of weeks of the new year, and you'll see it happening. People are everywhere, as if the concept of fitness was just discovered. Kind of like how Pokemon Go basically reignited the whole fitness thing. But as the days and weeks go by, those numbers lessen. And a couple of months into the year, and the crowd, basically a couple of months into the year, the crowds thin out. Pretty soon, everyone's getting on that late pull-down machine. Doesn't even, let me rephrase that. Basically, everyone trying to get on that late pull-down machine in the fitness center. There's no line after a while, and you can pretty much just walk in there now and use whatever machine you want. Okay, we're all prone to thinking willpower is basically all or nothing. It's one of the many cognitive disorders that most people have, and easily forget that without building balance into our plan, even the most ferocious explosion of will is not sustainable. And you don't want that. 2. Dreaded restraint bias. Insidiously, our brains are prone to overestimating our willpower at various points at which we're most liable to take a fall. The best way to phrase this is that whenever you think you've mastered a temptation, compulsion, or condition, you need to check yourself. Let me just go ahead and say it like that. If you once again begin exposing yourself to the object of your weakness, be it junk food, smoking, gambling, sex, wine, what have you, or any other weird third thing, research and anecdotal experience predicts a backslide. You will automatically fall back into it. It's a known fact. No matter what happens, it can't be escaped. So to exercise some self-control here, I'm going to take the first 5 seconds to say this. Apparently, after my last couple of recordings, I was told that using big words confuses people. So from this point forward, I will attempt to use smaller words for those who don't understand some of these words, like cognitive or overzealous, if it could be helped, moving forward. Anyway, number 3, your self-control runs low. Basically, we begin our day with energy reserves and enhanced focus, but as the day wears on and that energy runs lower, so does our self-control. Research has suggested that people least likely to cheat during the day are more likely to cheat at night. Just because your will feels indomitable at noon doesn't mean that it will be at midnight. In other words, just because you feel at high power and control of yourself during the day doesn't mean that same case will be true getting close to bedtime, depending on when you go to bed. Keep your eye on the fuel gauge and don't overestimate your late day resolve. When it comes to close, just go home. It'll help you avoid doing things that you don't want to do that you normally don't do. Number 4, cognitive loads sap resources, or heavy loads in layman's terms. Part of what saps our energy is how much fuel our brain consumes to get us through the day. Around 25% of the body's circulating blood level glucose, to be more exact. In other words, that's the sugar in your body. And depending on how active your brain is, the more mental stress we face, the more fuel is needed. That's less energy devoted to self-control, and when you need it most, it fails. For most of us, our cognitive load is only going one way, and that's up. Basically, all the stress and hell that you go through during the day. If you can find a way to loosen it, you'll loosen the load on your brain, and your hair won't be turning white. Number 5, entrenched patterns are consistently fierce. Can't read my own handwriting. Imagine yourself running up an escalator that's going down. That's probably the best example I can give you. The faster you run, the faster the escalator moves. You eventually do make it to the top, but no doubt you'll be extremely exhausted. Or you'll simply run in place, or worse, fall backwards to the floor, while everyone laughs at you, while some people call in the paramedics. The escalator represents the entrenched mental patterns that you're running against when you basically exert your will. They've been there for a long time and aren't going anywhere. And to be fair, they've been there longer than you've ever realized, preferably since the day you were born. They are formidably resilient, and changing the patterns requires a long game of thinking. So, in other words, it's going to take you time. And unless you've played chess, checkers, or any of those kinds of games, this may be a foreign concept to a lot of you. Number 6, automatic thoughts sabotage progress. How do so many seemingly strong people still fail despite their bluster and bravado? It's a question we all ask ourselves a lot. Well, much of the time it's not an external force, but the enemy within that takes them down. Your unconscious mind, I guess is the best way to put it, is what the pioneering psychologist Aaron Beck called automatic thoughts throughout the day. It's basically, we don't really know why, but we do know that many of these thoughts are negative, self-defeating, and downright toxic. And basically are there as, well, how do I put it? The negativity thoughts basically eats at you and eats up most of your thought processes, making it harder for you to move forward, if you will. The more real those thoughts become in perception, the more they define your actions. And perhaps no one said it better than the great Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius when he said, "Such as your habitual thoughts, such also will be the character of your mind." If you can keep yourself in a positive, uplifting mindset, negative thoughts won't weigh you down and basically defeat you. Like a wrestling match for the WWE, using that as a reference. Number 7, damned independence. Yes, I said it. To say that no one is an island is a vast understatement, and we think of ourselves as independent, but we've evolved to be socially interdependent, if you know what I mean. The one man or one woman juggernaut of will is compellingly popular is a myth that makes for a great action movie, but it's completely wrong anywhere else. If you think going it alone is a good idea, you better be ready to fail alone as well. On that note, number 8, the introspection illusion. So you say you want to grab the control of your unconscious mind. Okay, that's fine, but that immense modular processing system we're only starting to truly understand, and will, yourself above, and around the past any obstacle. good luck with that. That's all I can say with that. Introspection is a decent focus practice, or such as meditation, that can better prepare you from getting from A to B, but none of us will ever thoroughly control our minds or bypass hard work and failure before succeeding. Indeed, it's alarming to realize how much is out of our control. Believe me, you can't control everything. Okay? And with that, number 9. Looked so good on paper. Yes, it does, usually. But, well, I'm going to use a quote here. Margaret Thatcher said, famously, you know, that iconic Iron Lady. She said, plan your work for today and every day. Then work your plan. It's kind of like budgeting money. Again, that's a topic for another day. It's good advice, but it should be balanced with an observation from Mike Tyson. Let's use him. You know, the iconic Iron Jawbreaker that everybody knows of. Honestly, I didn't know who that was until like 3 years ago. But anyway, everyone has a plan till they get punched in the mouth. Get a UFC reference, if you will. Just because a plan or a mission looks perfect doesn't mean it will work. It simply means that you've determined that you think it'll work. Our brains value stability and certainty over instability and uncertainty. So a plan in free fall failure is an uncomfortable thing to accept. Hence the need for internal change management. You can't will a plan to succeed, but you can exercise the will to adjust your course as needed.